The 72 Entertainment Group Podcast Network presents.
Here it is again. God damn it.
Yo, what up, though?
All
Yeah.
right. We are back. Is everybody here? Can you hear me loud and clear? Do you hear my rich, smooth voice?
Yeah, weird
Rich?
stuff.
Big paper.
Okay. So, it is me, MMB, and I'm here, of course, in the Leopold Studios in beautiful Henderson, Nevada. And this is Always Into Something. I'm not alone. I'm never alone. I'm here with my partners in crimes, my brothers. I got Ahmad the God. You with us?
Mod to God, never a facade. From Inglewood. Y'all know what it is.
All right. And then we got Mr. M. Parks.
What up, though? Representing live from the apartment in the garage, doing what I do.
That's what I'm talking about. So I'm just gonna jump right into it, fellas. We had a pretty weighty episode last week. I did get some good feedback. And, you know, it was pretty good about mainly about Mr. Parks and like his insight on things and the question that he proposed. Like, what do you say to somebody when they walk up to you out of nowhere talking about they with you? He you know, that my buddy was like that was a very interesting question, and he posed it to his coworkers, his wife. He went all around, so he was very intrigued by that, and he was happy overall with everything else. Of course, he said I was the bomb, but whatever, you know.
Well, we can't trust his judgment at this point.
Okay.
What kind of bomb was this?
He's trying to be questioned. he was doing right until.
And
But you know, it's crazy, man. We you know, we talked about, you know, the event, the tragic event of George Floyd, and you know, he was put to rest this week. Sorry. And
Recently.
Recently. And you know, it's still a lot of things going on. There's a lot of positive things going. A lot of positive talking, I should say. There's a lot of communication that's going out, and it seems to be more on we need to do something about this. We need to kind of fix this. We need to address this. And but that's, again, it's just in the media. It's not. I mean, I don't know if it's trickled down yet to where I've seen a real systemic change like we need it to be. There's a lot of different things and a lot of different people, but Parks, what has your week been like since last we spoke?
Since last we spoke, I have been on Facebook being very surgical with people who are saying things that seem like they are stuck in the 1600s. And so when a guy posts up about why is Floyd significant, it is tough to look away. It is tough to be like, block and go. And it's easier to block and go and be like, okay, I find out who you are, because these are associates, people that I met once or twice. And in certain areas, if they are around, we're cool, we'll kick it. But when you post up something like this, it shows me more of you than I knew before. And so I spent a lot of this week on Facebook typing up sophisticated, cunning soliloquies and getting those things either folks would just delete the thread or they would cop out. And so when it comes to things like what's going on in the world, I'm like, hey, usually I'm chill, laid back, live and let live, but you're doing too much. Folks are like, why all the looting? Why all of this? Why all of that? Why the black on black this? How come, and then one lady quoted Tupac. And when you do that, that's, oh, no, don't do that around me because you're not looking at the whole picture. And I was, I don't really claim a particular political group, but I was sold into Republican life based on vouchers for education in charter schools and private schools and getting rid of teacher unions to get rid of bad teachers as well as bad cops. Now, I work in education, so the lady's trying to tell me something about what I know. And it's ironic that you say, okay, I want to get rid of bad teachers. 80% of all teachers are white women. Black men make up less than 2% or right around there. We really don't have much to say. So when you start talking about getting rid of folks, and you're getting rid of your own, and okay, cool. As long as you don't mind, I don't mind either. But when you look at what's been going on and how people have been responding to it, it's eye-opening to the point where it's made me decide certain things where I might run into people like that. I'm just not going because it was tough enough for me to just be cool and articulate myself in a manner that would make my mom proud without just going gangster rap on them, like what I was raised on. So to do that was impressive, but also to see other white folks being allies. And shoot, I ain't had to say nothing because they had it handled. Let me step back and let you handle your people. Let me step back and let you deal with folks who are very privileged to the point where it might be borderlining racism and they don't even know it. So I'm just going to step back. And then when it's my time, I will come through swinging like I'm supposed to.
Okay. All right. So, Ahmad, how was your week been since we last spoke?
It's been pretty chill. I haven't had any experiences like that. Where I've seen people, say anything to me or come up to me, but I can really feel it in the air. Just I cross paths with someone white, you know what I mean, or if it's just I got a traffic light, it just feels like different. Feel more, you can say, sensitive right now. I just feel like the whole situation has basically shrunk the world. Now we're getting to know each other a lot better. We're getting better acquainted. So me, it feels like now we live in one big ass house, and that's not always a good thing. It's like having a big family. Eventually, sometimes y'all gonna fight. Some people have emotions about one another that's in the house that they don't share, and at some point that pot boils over. You guys have to, face whatever those consequences are. I just feel like the world is definitely changing slowly but surely. I don't know how far this is going to actually take us before we have to have another revolt or revolution or riot or whatever you want to call it. Because I know this is not the end. I know this is going to be a long process. But I could definitely feel it in the air. I haven't had any personal experiences. I could just feel the energy shift. I could just feel the change. I mean, some people are really genuine and they really want to know what they could do, or if they've been doing wrong. Because some people are really uneducated, but they're just genuine people. Some people have different motives. So, it's going to be up to your own intuition and judgment to make that decision going forward. So, when I'm in those situations, I always try to look towards my intuition because I'm real energy based. So I feel a person's energy. Like if I feel like they not being sincere, I'm going to treat them like that. It just depends. So it's all going to boil down to that. I feel like we got a better advantage than that than anybody else. We more, grounded with just everything as far as the energy is concerned. So I don't know, man, it's just going to be interesting. But I haven't had anything off the wall that happened to me this week other than just, intuition telling me that there's a different vibe in the air. If people look at me and it was just the way that they accommodate, almost like, I don't know, it's like, so it's like if somebody found out you had an accident at work and you came back to work, everybody be pulling out your chair, making your coffee and all that.
Wow, must be nice.
Yeah. I mean, it was
Depends on where you work. Shit.
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, my week it was pretty similar to yours. I mean, it wasn't a whole lot of. I didn't really notice anything in the like anything really different. The one thing that I did because I'm not on social media. I haven't really gone out into the public to where people are around and it's a mix of people. I'm just to work and back home and just chilling this week. But when I was home, I did watch, and I'm not going to get to a big thing about it, but I want to hit on a couple key points. I watched Be Water. It was the 30 for 30 about Bruce Lee. And he made a comment while he was being interviewed, and I want to say it was in either between 69 and 73. I'm not sure exactly when that interview happened because they didn't really say it or they didn't post it or I missed it. But the interviewer asked Bruce Lee, because if you didn't know, Bruce Lee was born in San Francisco and he moved with his family to China. He got into trouble and his family sent him back because he's an American citizen to live with people in Chinatown in San Francisco. So, but the interviewer asked him. He said, "Hey, Bruce, what do you consider yourself? What do you consider yourself? Do you consider yourself Chinese, or do you consider yourself American?" And Bruce looked, and he said, "I consider myself a human being." And I don't know why it just hit me because I'm sitting there, I'm cooking and I'm doing stuff, and I paused. I was like, wow, that was back in the 70s or early 70s, and it's going on right now. Like that stuff is still going on, and it was just one of those things that was like, it was very eye-opening to me because he said we're all a part, we're all humans. It just happens to be some of us are born different and we look a little different, but we're all human beings on this earth. And I prefer to think of myself as human. That's what I want to be. Now, call me crazy, but I thought that was cool.
It was.
You know what I mean? And then it got me thinking about something else. Off that I'm looking at this show and they're talking about Chinatown. And then I was like, Chinatown, okay. There's a Chinatown in Vegas. There's a Chinatown in LA. There's a Chinatown there. There's a Chinatown. And I'm thinking like, wait, there's a little Italy. There's a little spot where you can go, a little Mexico, whatever. They might not call it that, but there's little sects. You know what
Mexican
I mean? Little
They call it Mexican Town in Detroit.
Oh, they do?
Southeast, yeah, Mexican Town.
Oh, I did not know that. I did not know that. Okay. Like,
You laugh. Oh, it's true. Southeast? Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, well, still, they have all these little areas where it's just...
West, I don't want to get messed up. South, for sure.
Okay. So, but you have, where you'll see their native language on storefronts, things like that. And I'm like, man, where is the little Africa, or what is the, you know what I mean? And I know that, I'm not trying to be funny about it, but I know there's other parts of Africa and stuff like that, and there might be a little, like Ethiopia has a big demographic here, or somewhat large demographic in Vegas. So I know, I just haven't seen it. Where?
They have a little area on near Melrose here in LA too.
Oh, okay.
Ethiopia.
Yeah.
It's just a few restaurants.
Okay. So, but they got the little area, and I know they're in Cleveland. There's a little shops where you can go to Palestinian places, little Middle Eastern places, things like that. And I'm looking like, where's ours? Where is our stuff at? But this is our stuff. But
we're shoppers, man. We're consumers.
We have
our own individual businesses. but there's no section. We go where they will allow us to rent because we don't have the capital as a group to say this is our area. The only time it's our area is in housing when it comes to maybe apartment complexes or neighborhoods or things like that. But in terms of businesses, we tend to get in where we fit in.
Yeah. And okay, so now when you say housing, now picture a lot of communities. Now I know that there are outliers and there are communities that are beautiful where everybody is the Huxtables. But majority, most, what does it look like? If your whole block is 90% black, what is it looking like?
It depends on the neighborhood.
So that's what I'm saying. There's outliers, but go ahead.
Up here is townhomes or apartments in areas that are traditionally low income. And I was born and raised in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and so where it was. There's a prominent black neighborhood, the Old West Side. It has been gentrified to the nth degree where they've even renamed it Water Hill and Upper Water Hill. No, the Old West Side, the black folks side of town where everybody knew each other and it was our neighborhood. And then it's probably one of the most prestigious neighborhoods in the country now just because of where it is and how it is. Then there are the low income areas in the neighborhood or in the city, and you had one over here, one over there, so on and so forth. There'd be like pods of apartments or townhomes where people stayed at. And in Ann Arbor it's a liberal town, but it's very expensive to live in. So you had folks they were upper crust. They, had nice houses, and they looked down on the Old West Side, like, oh, you live over there, you went to this school. But now it is like uncharted territory where they'll take a house that was built. My grandma had a house built in early 1900s, and she sold it to my cousin. He paid a small price for it because it was in the family. He sold it, and now the house is going for almost $700,000. So if you look at it, if he would have kept it and maybe did the renovations, or it stayed in the family, that could be something that could be a windfall for numerous family members versus he got out of it and the other folks took over, and now they're going to really reap the rewards of it being there. And it's to the point where some of the family members want to go in and just see the house, because I remember spending the night over there, but we won't. And it's amazing.
Yeah. Now in your mind, Ahmad, what do you see when you see a black neighborhood?
I agree with what he said. I mean, it does agree on the area because black neighborhoods vary, from different demographic levels. You got, some areas where the income is lower versus the income is higher. Now, if you go somewhere where the income is lower, you're obviously going to see, more crime. You're going to see, a lot of negative things when it comes to, lack of opportunities in that area. You do see some people that are a little bit more united. You see people that, they build a stronger bond, but, also have the exact opposite. And I think that takes place in every neighborhood. Now, when you go to a more expensive neighborhood, you're going to see, like you were saying earlier, like the Huxtable vibe, like everybody's, real secluded, real quiet. It's real conservative. They may have things in the community like, events for children and things of that sort. Other than that, the community doesn't get together as often. Now, in different neighborhoods, they'll have different community outreach programs and things of that sort that will bring the community together. And I think over time, like let's say for over the last 20 years, the community has gotten a little bit more unified and structured because now you have more gyms popping up, you have more like the sip and paint things popping up, and all these places where people can congregate and have a good time. In the older days, there were really only restaurants, maybe some movies. Those didn't really be a community friendly environment. It was more so like a one-on-one environment. So I think it is getting better. But it seems like richer, the more wealthy the community, the more distant people are. I mean, I lived in good areas too. I lived by Palos Verdes for years. My neighbors over there, they wouldn't. I used to be in the elevator with them all the time. Even the kids, they wouldn't even speak to me. We'd be in the elevator together for years, and they would never even say good morning or nothing. And when I would speak, they wouldn't speak back. This is when I lived like in a better area, like a more expensive area. I moved to a cheaper area. Everybody over here is friendly. Talking to you, you know what I mean? It's like everybody want to be your friend. You like, dude, I wasn't even getting this treatment in that area.
That's
Over
crazy.
here, everybody like, how you doing? How's your day going? How's work been? At least they small talk with you, and I don't even have an elevator over here. So,
That's
it's
crazy.
just different vibe, man.
That's funny. I mean, I remember I used to go to my so I grew up. Well, we already talked about that. I don't want to get into it because that was brought up. Oh, I didn't have 2 TVs in my living room, and anyway.
Bitch, don't burn on.
You know what I mean? Anyway, I did not notice. I did not notice a lot of things racially until maybe around the 5th or 6th grade. I was in the 3rd grade when I moved to a predominantly white neighborhood, but I didn't really notice it or pay attention until 5th or 6th what was going on, because I would still go back to visit my aunts, my cousins and stuff where they lived in L.A. over on 109th, and we would just go hang out and chill with my granny and hang out. So now, seeing all of this and how people have treated me, I don't see a difference. I didn't see a difference, and I didn't expect to see a difference, and that's fine. I don't. That's not what I'm trying to get at, but I was talking with my buddies last night, and this is one of them is a former doctor and a lawyer. He was a doctor he was an OBGYN for 30 years, and he became a lawyer when he was when he wanted to close his practice, and then he went back to this delivering babies at the emergency room. Very well educated, probably the smartest person that I've met.
Don't discount me.
Huh?
I'm not finished learning yet, so don't discount me.
No, I'm not discounting. I'm not saying you're not in that conversation, but yes, this gentleman is, he knows the stuff. And another gentleman who from New York, New Jersey, runs multiple areas, including Phoenix, LA, things like that, and Las Vegas. He's doing his thing. So we're sitting there and we're discussing things and we're talking about all of this that's going on and kind of and of course these gentlemen are white. So we're discussing this, and I am talking with, and also I'm sitting with a former military police officer he's a retired police officer. My buddy Phil, who was he a part of the group, and we were just chopping it up and enjoying our cigars and beers. And we started talking about this stuff, and then it started talking about the other countries and how they deal with this type of stuff when it happens, right? So South Africa, when apartheid was going on, everything, and then when it ended, when they abolished it, what did they do? And I didn't even know this because I'm just so used to how we do things. You know what I mean? They got rid of everything dealing with apartheid. Everything. I mean, whatever, monuments, anything, done. They had anything to do with it. Germany did the same thing. There's no way you can't have any kind of Nazi memorabilia. It's illegal. And they make their kids go to the concentration camps. There's like a semester where they learn just about that stuff in their history. And I was just like, wow, that would be really, really beneficial for us because we don't have anything like that. And what we do have is people wanting to hold on to old.
Yeah.
All right.
You know what I mean? They want to just hold on to these beliefs because they
And
feel
artifacts.
and that they're right. You know, we just had a NASCAR. He was a truck driver. I'm not gonna give him too much, but he retired because NASCAR banned the Confederate flag. I'm out.
Mr. Ofer.
So yeah, exactly. Never won a race, but I'm out. Now everybody knows his
It's
name.
hard to win a race, brother, but still.
You know, that Confederate flag wasn't helping him win shit. But, you know, he still is out there and and why would you want to, what is the Confederate flag? What does that even mean to people? Like, I don't know. Like, I remember seeing it on the Dukes of Hazzard card. And I thought it was cool. I was like, oh, I didn't know what it meant.
The Dukes was good people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I didn't know.
But you remember Ahmad? We used to watch the Dukes
Oh,
of
yeah.
Hazzard and shit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
We didn't know what we were looking at. We just thought it was a symbol. We didn't know what it symbolized.
exactly. So, but should we even have seen it though? You know what
Absolutely
I mean?
not. No, absolutely not.
Like, so should we? I just also read something about Clemson. I think was it Clemson that got rid of one of their the name of one of their buildings because of he was a former slave owner. But he was on the building and they changed
Clemson
it.
was built on a plantation.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a whole different thing. I didn't know that.
All right.
Which in retrospect, probably a lot of things have been built on plantations because that's what was the foundation for the country. So former plantation land is a lot of the land. It's almost just as much as former Native American land, if you really want to speak on it.
So, does anybody know what Juneteenth is?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And does anybody know that the president is going to be going to speak at a rally on Juneteenth in a particular area?
Well,
He changed his mind.
Changed his mind. His black friends and others of the black community supporters of him decided that they would let him know that it was probably not the best thing to do to speak on the 19th, so he postponed it for a day. So Tulsa, with the Black Wall Street and the riots and burning the place down, and it was an affluent black area where they had their own. Yeah. And one of the things that I want to quickly put this in, one of the things that I was battling this week was a person who put up a meme that talked about how black people, you know, swear they want to be a part of America, but they have their own holiday. They have their own month. They have their own colleges and universities. They have their own dating apps, and they have their own black-only bars and clubs. And if you want to have all those things, then something is wrong with you. And I had to point out that black universities and colleges were brought forth because blacks couldn't get into the traditional colleges of that time. Mm-hmm. So these folks were more upset about black people creating their own than they were about the whites not allowing them to attend the ones that were there. And so I told the guy, you're more than welcome to enroll at a black college or university. He talked about the holiday, Juneteenth. Man, throw some meat on the grill. You can celebrate because when whites were independent, blacks weren't. So we had to wait years before that to happen so you can celebrate. You can celebrate Black History Month, too, and find out about the enormous contributions of black folks to this society. You're more than welcome to go on a black dating site. I mean, there's someone for everyone. You might not find what you're looking for. They might not be looking for you, but you might hit that hole in one. Who knows? Oh. But the only thing that I really couldn't argue with was I'm 41. I'll be 42 in a couple of days. I've never been to a black-only club or bar. Never seen one. Never knew we had one. So this guy is telling me that we have them, and I'm like, hey, point me in a direction. Put me on. But those who oppose these things have opportunities to participate in everything that was created because we weren't allowed to have it when they were allowed to have it. Folks say, okay, well, people want to be separate and they don't want to be involved, or you got your own black entertainment television. We weren't seeing ourselves on all those shows, all those networks. So we had to create something. And now you're upset that we create when you could have just included us and it would have stifled the creativity. But it's, again, if we have this White History Month, we have this. Come on now. Don't be mad at the people for creating something when you deny them the opportunity to have it, when we were just asking to be in there with you.
Exactly.
See our.
Exactly. It was a video that my buddy showed me last night where it was a lady. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it went viral or I don't know, but it was a young white lady, and she was showing why Black Lives Matter. And when she was going through all the races, and she was circling, and she was saying, so when you have one particular race that's being disenfranchised and killed and held back, that's not all lives. That's most of the lives. So that's why it's Black Lives Matter. And it was funny the way I described it was terrible. But if you can see it, it was hilarious. But anyway, I don't know why people insist on like the segregation and stuff like that. Like, I didn't live through any of that. I didn't know any of it. Like I talked about it last time. My mom and my uncle, and they all lived through that stuff, and it's tough. And yeah, there are hurt feelings. It's not easy to forgive if you got to run home because you're being chased by the Ku Klux Klan and they might get you. But it's tough. It's difficult to say, hey, now let me trust this person. He looks like that person that was chasing me, but he's not. And every race has, the bad, the good, all that. And you know what I mean? So it's just not one thing in particular. Where I was going to go with this, though, was a mob. Are you, hello?
I'm here. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, man. Come on, dog. Trying to.
You said you were going somewhere with it.
Yeah, and I was trying. I was about to include you. I'm trying to include you into what we were doing, and I was playing. Oh. I'm just messing with you.
What?
Oh. First thing, couple days. Happy birthday early before I forget.
Happy birthday. A drink for that.
Yeah, definitely. I might have had
all water over here, baby.
I might have had too much already. That's why I'm stumbling and bumbling.
42 coming soon.
42.
You're the Jackie Robinson, baby.
That's it. But
I like that. So it's a celebration.
Exactly. So, we back in the day, I remember we did that those tapes.
Yep.
And we were talking about.
I still have them, bro.
I know you do. And I only thing when Mark Quinn was talking when he was talking. I'm sorry, when Parks was talking. All I could think about was that Whoopi Goldberg and
Ted Danson.
So
we was not supposed to be talking about that shit at that age, bro.
Dude. This is around the time when Ted Danson did the black. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you remember. That.
Shit was beyond hilarious, at least to us. Maybe we was just goofy as fuck, but we was crying off of that shit. But it was just being two bored kids and had a tape recorder and just running around. Okay, I'm gonna pretend like I'm this person, pretend like that person, and I'm just gonna degrade your entire sanity. Like, you're done after this. Like, you're never coming back. Yeah, so that was good times, man. That was fucking crazy, man.
All the celebrities sounded the same because I was doing every celebrity. He was playing.
Yeah, you were 20 celebrities. I was interviewing you. You were giving me the most, and it was like one of those in-depth interviews where like you don't want to hear about all the shit in the tabloids. You want to hear about the dirt. You know what I mean? Like, so you going for the dirtiest of the dirtiest. Like, did you fuck that dude or what? Like dirty shit. Shit was done. That was right after OJ had killed Nicole. I remember that.
Oh, did he do it? Are you sure?
Oh, remember we had that same interview.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. You know, that was right after the whole OJ Simpson case.
Oh yeah. He did come out with a book that said if I didn't do it, but if I did, this is how I would do it.
That's actually the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. I didn't do it, but if I did, this is how I would do it. And you're going to print and publish the shit and put it all around the world. Wow.
I mean, you know, OJ, okay, look. So that's another thing, you know, you get into all of this kind of brings back all of these different type of vibes, right? So OJ was beloved, right, by everybody. And he was beloved by everybody. He got caught in a crime of passion, allegedly, and decided to, you know, murder his ex-wife and her friend. We don't know.
Let's go back just a little bit. I don't know about him being liked by everybody because there was a lot of his own people that wasn't rocking with OJ.
Okay.
He had a reputation outside of football.
Okay, that's a good point. Now, elaborate if you can elaborate a little bit on that.
Okay, so OJ Simpson was known as this, you know, overly cocky. That's why Jay-Z had a song like, what's the name of that song Jay-Z has? And he was like, OJ forgot he was black or something like that. I think it's called OJ or OJ. Story of OJ. Okay, so anyway, this is where all that's come from. OJ had a reputation just in Hollywood and Hollywood circles, just being an asshole. You know, kind of like a Larry Bird or Barry Bonds or, you know, a lot of them other few celebrities where they just known for being an asshole. I don't care how sick your kid is, how many wheelchairs he in. I don't care. He ain't signing autographs. He ain't taking no pictures, and he's gonna do it in a very rude manner, almost like I don't give a fuck if that I'm a celebrity. Shut the fuck up. Don't talk to me. He was just always known for being very rude. He was also known, you know, around the black community as just kind of like getting around white people more, kind of like, you know, that people will call him a sellout and things like that because he would spend more time around them. And like I said, you mix that with a rude personality and that, you know, that type of you know, that type of karma in the air, a lot of people, you know, might look at you like a sellout. So everybody did not like OJ. So that's why there was so much speculation around the murders as far as like, could it have been somebody else, one of his enemies, or somebody set him up? OJ had OJ had run-ins with the police for that, and OJ had, you know, I don't know if he had an alcohol problem, but he had a domestic violence issue before all this even happened. So it wasn't like everybody loved him. I mean, you know, obviously as a football player, everybody did, but we're talking way after his career was over. He just had that reputation. He never spoke on black issues. He never stood up for the black community. And there's always an opportunity to do that when you're black. As a celebrity, you never do it. I mean, probably not going to be looked at as one of the greats. He kind of lost his own little fan base there.
You know what? And that's the funny thing is because he was in movies, he was in commercials, he was on TV doing announcing for the NFL. He was everywhere, and
he's trying to keep that up.
Exactly. And my friend who the doctor, he says that he watched OJ play. I think it was college. Yeah, Minnesota against USC. And everybody knew that OJ was getting the ball. In the fourth quarter, it was a blizzard. And he said it was they just kept giving him the ball. And it was the greatest thing he ever seen because they ended up scoring a touchdown, 7-0. USC wins. And everybody knew OJ was getting the ball. But he could not be stopped. So it's interesting because you take the career. Like I didn't know OJ Simpson's football career at all. I think he retired way before I even knew anything about it. Just like Jim Brown. I didn't know he played football until way later.
Wow.
And I just knew O.J. Simpson from the dude that was in the Naked Gun movies with Leslie Nielsen.
Oh.
And Hertz commercials where he's hurdling stuff and running through the airport doing his thing.
Right.
It's all about, and I hate to take this to like a sci-fi. I am a self-proclaimed nerd, so it's almost like an assimilation. You get to a certain level, and the Borg comes, and now you must be assimilated, and you must know you're going to be just one of us, and we've seen that over and over and over, and not everybody gets that involved, but OJ did, because you're right. There was a lot of talk about OJ when his trial was going on. It was a lot of people that were defending him, but there was also a good amount of people that were saying, "Yeah, who cares? That's what he gets for being
asshole."
For being an asshole and not supporting the black community.
Yep, that's how the same thing happened to Bill Cosby. But
Bill Cosby supported the black community more.
Yeah, but he had a lot of things to say about a lot of black people. A lot of people that as they looked up to, Cosby would say little certain things to tear him down, and he had a following of black people that didn't support him. He didn't support them. I mean, he was at Temple College for many years. He did a jazz thing, but bumped heads with a lot of black people, a lot. He'd criticize people on their methods, like, "Oh, this guy's successful, but I don't agree with him doing this or him doing that." So he would criticize people on their methods, and he was always trying to tell black people, like, as an overall race, this is what we should and shouldn't be doing. And there was a lot of people that didn't agree with him. But I don't remember him like really standing behind anyone ever black and supporting him.
And I don't know.
But hold on. He stood behind institutions and put money up. So when you think about
Temple College, right?
No, historical black colleges and universities at a time when they were close to closing and going bankrupt, he was putting up money to keep them open so that they can continue to educate black folks coming through the system of that educational place. And his biggest issue was it's kind of like people say Uncle Snoop, people say Uncle Shannon Sharp. Nobody's saying Uncle Bill. He was the father. Your relationship with your uncle can be different than the relationship with your father. In some cases, you might know your uncle, but not know your father. And so it could be your uncle on your mama's side or vice, whatever. He was talking from a perspective of, look, I know what it's like to get through this situation, and y'all need to do this. Now, some of the things that I've witnessed this week were echoed with, y'all need to, stay out of gangs. Y'all need to do this. Y'all need to go to school. Y'all need to be educated. Those folks are absolutely right. But opportunities in areas with low income and tough situations don't always lead to people being able to evade gang life. I mean, you danged if you do, you danged if you don't. Okay, I don't bang, but now I'm a neutron or I'm a civilian, and both sides are against me versus me picking one side and battling the other side. So it becomes difficult for a person in that environment to withstand. And again, I didn't grow up in gang life, but I know, you all are in California, and California is the home of Bloods, Crips, et cetera, et cetera. So maybe you all might have a perspective on how to avoid it if you did it personally, or folks who had to make the decision and why they made a decision to join or to not join.
Yeah. So, okay, now I was about to ask your thoughts on the not OJ, but just that dynamic and that kind of dichotomy of the black athlete who is heralded by, heralded by the white culture. The only person that I can think about right now, because it's a predominantly white sport, was Tiger Woods. But I think he transcended
and he
the
wasn't.
game.
He wasn't, though, because they were still talking about, serving sort of stereotypical black foods at the Masters. Now, Tiger was a person who didn't like to be called black. He preferred to go into an area with his Asian background over the fact that his father was black. And so when he showed up to those tournaments, they were looking at him for what the world looked at him for, but his frame of mind was, I'm pretty much Asian. And that was an issue for him because he didn't show that part of his heritage. Now, recently, he released a statement about Floyd and all of that, and people were talking to him about, or they were upset with him about how he talked about the officers and what they were doing at a time when he should have been more into the treatment of black folks. But when you don't necessarily identify as black, even though we supported you and everybody viewed you as that, when you don't see it in you, you don't know. It's just like when you have a talent, but you don't see it to the level of other people and how they look at it, you never know quite how you don't know how well you are or good you are in that area. And there's a difference because you brought up Tiger, and as of late, you also can look at Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, hey, the comment that he made about Republicans buy sneakers too was something that he said in a laughing manner with sarcasm.
Yep.
But as of late, this man has donated $100 million to social justice causes, and you can see that in this situation, when he released statements, he is distraught. He is upset. He is hurt about what is going on. So while Jordan took the stance of, I'm not political, I'll donate some money, but I'm not going to associate with that situation in a public manner. Now he is stepping up to the plate and saying, this is wrong. Tiger's still like, well, it's unfortunate on both sides. And that becomes the issue. Because if you didn't do it early in life, you can come back around, hopefully, and do it later on in life. Yeah. But if you do like Tiger did, it's like, we can't let that through customs.
I mean, this is not a political. This should not be a political thing. Wrong is wrong.
Yep.
Right? You know what I mean? And I just watched Dave Chappelle, that little clip of the 846.
Oh, watch it all.
Wrong is wrong. You cannot kneel on somebody for 8 minutes and 46 seconds when they're not doing anything, and be like, and be justified and be like, oh, I was correct in doing that. No, that's wrong. This is not a Republican, not a Democrat. It's not a conservative liberal thing. Wrong is wrong. You know what I mean? And it's just unfortunate. I don't want to say that. And that's not unfortunate. It's just that it's happening more often. Not just that, but other incidents happens to black people. Then I've not heard of a whole bunch of white officers kneeling on a white dude until he dies. I haven't heard of a lot of white officers busting into a white person's apartment and shooting them for no reason.
The media doesn't cover it. And the media is covering it for black folks to separate the people.
Exactly.
They want it to be a black and white thing.
It's just
Go ahead, Mike.
It's just like the East and West Coast thing. I mean, the media, they put it in your face. They want you to see. America spoons feeds its babies. They're going to put exactly what they want you to eat directly in your mouth. So we want you to see this way. Want you to view it that way. They know over time how your view is going to be. Your view is going to be based upon what you continuously see over and over and over. It happens to every race. I mean, as far as the numbers are concerned and what we're seeing, it seems as though it's happening to blacks more than anyone else. So obviously, there's going to be a divide, especially when the police force is obviously for having KKKs being ran by white people. Obviously, it's going to be something that they're perpetuating as a racial issue. Obviously there are things that happen every single day that we'll never hear about. And in every little nook and cranny across this country, somebody's dying, somebody's getting treated wrong every second of the day. We're never going to hear about all of them. If we heard about all of even our own personal cases, we'll burn this. We would have been burnt the shit down. Burn all this shit down.
You know what? And
because
that's a good point. Just real quick before I'm not trying to interrupt, but Vegas is known for that. You know how many people jump off the fucking parking lots and out the windows and shit, and it never gets reported?
Oh no,
it's a lot more than you think. So yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot of shit getting swept under the rug, and it's for obviously for business reasons. I mean, we can understand why somebody would want to keep certain things on a hush hush, but as far as what we're being fed a narrative, and the narrative is division. And as long as the country can stay divided, they believe that we can be controlled, because you're never going to have people that's going to see eye to eye on things. Therefore, they'll never have to worry about getting overthrown. If we can just unite, that'll change the game. But as long as people are still controlled by the media, the magazines, the billboards, the music, and people are independent thinkers, it'll always be that way. There'll always be a bunch of zombies walking amongst the woke.
Now,
but is the narrative wrong though? Because we've been dealing with this for 400 years. Now, yeah. I've had white folks say to me, well, what happens to us? Well, maybe y'all should have spoke out about it. We're speaking out about it, and you're saying, well, no big deal. That's because it's important to us, and we want it to be important to you. I had a guy tell me, well, if it happened to me, nobody would riot. Well, pick a friend that would riot more. If something happened to you, people would be upset. You can't judge how much. Well, why Floyd? Well, who else do you want it to be? And so many times the media does share certain things, but they'll say black folks do this and that and black on black crime. The media is not conditioned to say that 85% of white folks are killed by other white folks. And that number is not far off from the amount of black folks who kill black folks. You deal with people who are close to you. And traditionally, this is still, although there is some diversity in housing, it's still a segregated society in terms of who lives close to you. And so those things come into play and are major factors in it. The media does its job and they twist things, but there are certain things that beyond the media, I don't need the media to tell me that my people are being dealt with differently by officers when I saw it for myself. I've experienced it with my own eyes. I've heard the stories from my friends. So even if the media isn't right or if they're portraying something, our experiences should be valid. But most of the time they'll say, well, the media reported this and the statistics are this. Did they give you all of the statistics, or did they give you some statistics that help for you to have an argument against a certain thing? And that's where we have to be diligent in digging deeper into what's going on around the country and be willing to hear what's going on from people who are obviously hurting right now. And that lack of sensitivity is what fans the flames. It might be the media, but when I tell you what's going on with me and mine and you still don't care, that ain't the media. Maybe they trained you enough to not care, but you still have the choice to say, you know what? I know you as an individual, as a good man, and it's unfortunate that you had to deal with that. And instead, it's like, well, you didn't die, so why are you complaining?
It's funny, and as we talked about the other countries and how they deal with their past indiscretions and things like that, and I even said, I have relatives that felt, and they still feel strongly about how they were treated when they were younger. But you know what the funny thing is, and I think about it, that never, as a kid, that was never brought up. It was never, ever made an issue or like, oh,
why?
You can't talk to this white kid. Because we were kids. And we were kids. We just went and we played. And I think that in their heart of hearts, they were hoping that Martin Luther King's, vision would come true. We would we would just be, and you can grow up and that there's nothing wrong with being black. There's nothing wrong with being Hispanic, Asian, anything like that. We're just human beings, and we are here together, and we have different things to offer, and we shouldn't discount any of it. It should not be taught that this person is lesser than you because of your race. It shouldn't be, because, and the fact that it has been for years upsets me, and I'm not gonna lie. I used to play it cool, and I'm not about to go out there and start rip my shirt off like Hulk Hogan and start kicking people's ass, but I'm upset. Maybe Hulk Hogan was a bad analogy there. It was a bad analogy there. But but anyway,
you've been misled.
You know what I mean? It's.
So when did you all first experience this side? I know, Marlon, you kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier. In your childhood, when did you first realize that it ain't the same, player? There's different rules for different people.
Oh, like I said, I was in the 5th or 6th grade. Like I said before, like in past episodes, if you've not listened to them, go back and check out Always Into Something, streaming where any podcast is available. But me and Ahmad met in 3rd grade, so we were in the same area in that time. For me, it was around the 5th or 6th grade that I noticed. I don't know about Ahmad. How about you?
I think it was my mom gave me a test when I was in like the 5th or 6th grade. I didn't know I was being tested. I was a kid, and it was a big picture of the Raider girls, and it was like 100 girls, maybe 80 girls. I don't know how many girls. There was a lot of girls, right? And she told me, and it was all her friends. She said, "Point at all the beautiful women." And here I am as a kid, and I point to all these women, and when I get done, she's like, "You didn't point to any black women." And obviously that day I learned a valuable lesson. So,
Shaggy.
from my mom, obviously, and all her homegirls, whatever, her friends, taught me a hell of a lesson that day, and that was when I started looking at things a little differently.
Wow, that's okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, and I had no idea that I was being, that obviously I'm not gonna say I was being conditioned or brainwashed, but in a way I was, in the environment I was in, the face of beauty, and just
you gotta have no Jet magazine subscriptions with the beauty.
We went to a predominantly like white school.
I'm talking about Jet magazines in the house.
Oh yeah, we did. But I'm talking about as far as like what was shown on the television and things that as a kid, you ain't paying attention to no Jet. You're looking at cartoons and cereal boxes, like
and then your friends, and your influence with your friends, like what they're doing. So my thing was, I had a friend. He was a real close friend from 3rd. I think I met him in 3rd grade, and I used to go over his house. And I think you used to come over too, right? To
yeah. To all we didn't see color as a kids.
Yeah, we didn't. But what I would do, what happened was, how I found out that things are different was, so I go spend the night at my friend's house, and we wake up, his mom is making breakfast, and he throws a shit fit because there is not the right syrup. And he goes off and starts cussing.
Buttersworth and not Aunt Jemima? Or Log Cabin?
He starts cussing his mom out. And I was like, what is going on? Because if I did anything like that, it is over. Like, I am dead. So that's when I knew. I was like, okay, wait a minute. It's different. It's the cultures it's different. Like I can't do that. You can do that. That's okay. I got it. Cool.
Oh, some scissor.
Yeah. And I mean, he went in on his mom, and it was like he was in the 5th grade. I'm like, what is this?
But he learned that from somebody who also went in on mom for doing something like the mashed potatoes or something like that. There's too much salt and pepper on the chicken.
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny because this same dude was me and No Shame went to high school with him, and it's not funny, but he was kind of abusive to his girlfriend. Got kicked out of high school. So
Humble.
So yeah, it's it's all kind of. I mean, just it's all kind of different things. You know what I mean? Like I loved growing up in that apartment complex. Me and Amon spent a lot of time there because Amon would always be over there chilling, playing nation ball, playing video games, yelling, running around with all the kids and everything. We had a lot. I think we had a lot of fun back in those days.
Some good times, man. It was good old days.
I mean, real good time. It was. I mean, and it was just, and you didn't see color, and my friend last night, he said, look, if you hear somebody say that they tell you that they don't see color, they're full of fucking shit. So he didn't sugarcoat, and because for a while, and I didn't go into this, but I'll go into it now real quick. For a while, I would say that I really don't see color. I see people for who they are, and I see people. If you're a good person, then I'm rolling with you. If you're not a good person, I don't care what you look like. I can't mess with you. And it's. I don't say that I don't see color because I do see color and I understand that and I respect it, but I see the individual first. That's how I choose to live my life.
So is the color showing or is the individual showing?
And the thing is, because I've had people that come up to me and say, you know what, I'm only telling you this because we're both black. But that person was a snake and really was lying. So what I've learned is that when people come up to you and say, I'm only telling you this because you're black, because we're both black, they're full of shit too. And
it could be beneficial.
You know what I mean? And seriously, like I was out in because I do business in Cleveland, and I was out in Cleveland and I was sitting at a restaurant, enjoying myself, having some beers and having a meal, and there was a gentleman that was at the next table over, and it happened to be a waitress that you've been at a spot and you see a girl and then you see it and you look and then you look up and see who was looking at you and you see that and you make eye contact with somebody like, God damn, that's a nice ass or whatever. You know what I mean?
All right.
I wouldn't even know.
Okay. Sucker. But anyway, no, I'm very happy for you and your marriage. I appreciate it. I met your wife. She's very nice.
You didn't. No, yes, you did. I'm sorry, my bad.
Okay, you know what? Forget it. I didn't meet your wife. You know what?
You did. I forgot. Just before my wife. Yeah. Vegas. Skyrocket. Yeah. No comment. Keep going.
Okay, so we made eye contact, and I'm like, and we started chopping it up from our respective tables. And then he just came over to mine. He was like, "Hey, man, what you trying to do? Blah 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 blah." We both were really into real estate and real estate investing and all this stuff. And this is he's I think he was a little bit older than me. And immediately, I'm like, "All right, this is when is it about to drop?" Because I'm noticing, I'm feeling something. I'm like, something's about to drop. And he was like, yeah, I just got out of prison doing about such and such, blah 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 blah, and it all kind of just corruption with political people, and I'm like, oh God, like I'm like, yeah, no, I'm cool, man. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna stick to my apartments. I don't need to be like doing what you're doing and trying to relegate neighborhoods uninhabitable so you can come in and swoop it up. Which and I'm like, I'm cool. I don't want a part of that. I'm cool. so you feel it, but it was another black dude, and I'm like, I'm not from Cleveland. I'm new. I'm not, I got people there, but they're not black. They're, different nationalities. But I'm like, okay, what? And I was just waiting for it, and I knew it. And because you could feel like Ahmad said, you could feel the energy. You feel it. And it's just like.
True, bro. So true.
You know what I mean? And so I was just like, all right, cool. Let me pay my tab. I'm out. I'm going to go to my hotel and just chill. No. I'm good. So
happened to me at Benihana's, man. In Vegas.
Oh, really?
Benihana's in Vegas in December, the last time I seen you out there. And we walked down to Benihana's, and in Benihana's, they'll seat you with some strangers, so you guys are all at one big table. There was an old white couple from Boston. They said that it was their second time in Vegas in their entire life. I think they were both in their 80s. We was just chilling. We was having a decent conversation. We was cracking jokes. Some 80-year-old white people, they was kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like, we was just, and they're from Boston, so I was already scratching the back of my head. But it was kind of cool. And like, the guy started drinking, and I swear, dude, I felt something. I felt like he was going to drop a bomb or something. I just felt something coming. Then he leans over and says, for many years, I was a drug addict, and my wife left me, and we got back together. And I was like, okay. I was like,
my confessions.
Right. And I was just like, oh, shit. Like, all right, bro. Like, all right. Like, I guess. Like, yeah, I was a retired firefighter, but they forced me to retire because I had a drug issue.
Oh
and man, yeah, he was just like, I'm like, bro,
fired.
Huh?
Must be nice to not get fired.
Let it been our ass. But he was like, they forced him to retire because he had been there so long. And he just started opening up this like, he just started spilling the beans. I'm just like, dude, I just want to eat my shrimp. I ain't even tripping on your life. But, you know what I'm saying? Like,
can I enjoy
I'm not even tripping, bro. And it was just one of them awkward ass moments. Like, we was having a cool, free flowing conversation, and he gonna have to throw that left hook in there. I seen that shit coming a mile away. I'm like, he gonna tell me something weird, and it better not be no weird shit.
Man, isn't that the worst? Isn't that the worst thing? Like, you're sitting at a bar, like where we were at, where I met your wife, Marquin Parks.
Well, you did, because you absolutely did.
We were at the bar. I've been at that bar several times. That's my spot. I love that spot.
Right place.
Cigars, lovely people. It's amazing.
I drink water. My mama might be listening.
Yeah, you did not have a cigar. I smoked both cigars. Anyway,
wow.
We were there.
Allegedly.
We were there, and I was sitting there talking to a dude. You know what? Skip that part because that's not as interesting. This is what's interesting to me. So, I like to frequent cigar lounges, right? And it was a period of time where I would go to a cigar lounge and I would purchase my cigars, and they were like, "Oh, we have an area in the back. We got a TV. We got couches. Go enjoy." Cool. I don't have nothing to do. Let me go ahead and relax and smoke my cigar. And it would be some dude. And I'm not not picking on any race, but it was predominantly a white dude that would come in and we would sit there. Oh, what you smoking? Oh, okay, that's good. That's a nice stick. I like this. Oh, this is good. And we start talking, making small talk, and then and I'll shit you not, I had this 3 times. 3 different people, 3 different cigar bars or cigar shops. Oh yeah. Oh man, have you been to Thailand? No, I haven't been to Thailand. I'm sorry. Oh, you should go. Oh, I got it. Oh yeah, you should go. Oh man, you know how much you can get for $20? I was like, you know what? I don't, and I'm dead serious. I mean, they went on to, and he would describe in great detail what he can get for the amount of money, and it was 3 different people. The last person he bought a house, he created an irrigation system, he has a wife that is there, and he has a family that is here. And I was just like, why are you telling me this? Just because we have similar taste in what we like to smoke in cigars, you got to tell me that you like paying for your women and you went the extra mile because they are so, and that's why I stopped going. I was like, I'm tired of hearing this because it's just me and this person. And I'm like, I'm done. I don't need to hear whatever your fetish is. It's uncomfortable. Thank you for making my relaxing time uncomfortable. Because you want to tell me about the Bangkok girls that are you or boys, whatever. I don't know. Whatever.
Human beings. We're all human beings.
You know what I mean? That you're out there doing, and the amount of money is going to cost you. And I'm like, come on, it's ridiculous. I'm telling you,
Property
this
purchase.
is uncomfortable. It is that stuff that makes me uncomfortable. But nothing makes me more uncomfortable than the white dude that's, hey, what's up, homie? What's up? Trying to give me the handshake and the pull in, and I'm like,
Just insult my intelligence, why don't you?
Like, come on, like, really, it's very cringeworthy, and I don't. Once I'm
I apologize.
I'm
sorry.
I'm 40 years old. I don't care. So what I do now, once I see something like that, I'm like, you know what? I'm out. And I would walk to the other side of the room and be like, I did this the other day, a couple months ago. Somebody started talking some weird stuff at the bar, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna get I'm not gonna talk to you anymore. And I just got up and walked away.
And that's okay. I want to apologize because I have some really cool white friends, and I know for me, we traditionally shake hands, we might fist bump, but I've been teaching some of the coolest ones the handshake hug and getting it to where nobody's falling back or off balance or anything like that. So if you get one of mine, they're gonna be smooth with it. You know what I mean?
No, if you smooth.
I wanted to go back a little bit because I didn't chime in about that first time that you realized that things were different.
Okay.
And I had numerous occasions. I don't want to go back too far, but kindergarten teacher says, show and tell. And I talked about my family having a boat and being on the lake, and my uncle was water skiing behind the boat. And this woman, with my mom for parent-teacher conferences, pretty much said I was lying, that I had a very vivid imagination at kindergarten. And so my mom was like, no, we do have a boat. We do go out on the lake, and his uncle does water ski. Fast forward to 5th grade, we were on a field trip, and on the bus, Peter H. tells me that this is a no end zone. And I said, what?
Wow.
This is a no end zone. And I said, well, I ain't an end, so I'm good. or you can't be here. So I let it pass. Then later on, we're at recess, and I gave him the side headlock that would have won me the heavyweight championship belt. He was hurting because I knew where he was from. Neighbors, we all play together. We hoop together. The 2-on-1, I might beat them. They could shoot. I'm dominating. I'm a big little fella. Charles Barkley-esque stature. And they would do certain things, and then the N-word came up. And I reported it to my parents, and next thing you know, their parents, we don't know where it came from. We don't know where they learned it. But they went to private schools and all of that. And so as a young kid, it didn't take me long to figure out, especially in a liberal, mixed, diverse place, that I was different. And that's when my parents started saying, you need to be, twice as good, twice as smart, twice as this, that, and the third. And I didn't want to fall into that, but I did notice that for the same comments, I'd be sent to the office, whereas Andy or Peter or such and such would be allowed to stay in the class. I recall a teacher, she told me I said something and I didn't say anything. And she was like, go sit on the side. And I said, I think I'd know if I said something before you would know if I said something, because it came out of my mouth, which enraged her even more, because I'm saying from a knowledgeable standpoint, I know I didn't say anything. You think I did. Maybe you should listen to me right now since you're wrong. To that, she got upset. So a particular student teacher was pinching the trapezius muscles of the kids who were acting up in class. And I was in class, and it happened to, Kurt and this one and that one. And I knew in a matter of time it was going to be him putting his hands on my shoulders and pinching. So prior to him doing that, I told my dad that this student teacher is out here pinching boys on their trapezius muscles, and they crying and going to their knees and all of that. So my dad goes up to the school on the same day that I get moved during reading from this other teacher. Now, if I did something wrong, do you think I would tell my dad and advocate for him going up to the school and saying that this student teacher is doing anything wrong? Oh, heck no. If I'm in the wrong, I don't want my parents nowhere near the school. But I'm in the right in this situation that I'm trying to prevent. So when my dad gets up there, the teacher tells him that I told her to SMD. And I don't want to say what that means, but it's an abbreviation for...
Can I say
my
it?
father?
Can I say
No, it don't need to be said. If you know, you know. So when my father gets home, he's in the basement with me, looking to completely tear me up. And he's like, "What'd you say?" I didn't say anything. "What'd you say?" I didn't say anything. And so I had to convince my father that I didn't do it. And I gave him evidence of, if I would have told a teacher to SMD, would I send you up to the school about a person who was pinching my trapezius or could potentially do it, even though he didn't do it? And so that was the first time that my father was like, you know what? It's different. Here's some things that you need to know as a black male. If someone says it to you, this is how you respond. And so in those situations, it taught me, before I was 10 years old, it's different, man. That you can be appreciated, and not everybody is foul and wrong, but there will be some who will remind you of what they think of you, and you will have to. The ironic part about that teacher is when I got older, working with kids, I was working with her son, and he loved me. I mean, he talked about me at dinner. I helped him with homework and everything, and she was so happy that he and I had a great relationship. But this is the same woman who lied on me earlier in my life about why or about what I said. But your son loves me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You know what? That's fun. That's funny, God. We've never had that kind of discussion before, but I had a similar situation where the teacher said that I said something. I did not say it. So I got what they called at that school was a disciplinary notice, a DN. So I got a DN, and the person, because our school was literally next door to the apartment complex where we stayed, literally. And I'm walking home, and it happened to be that this time, because a couple of the kids were going to that school, and so one of the parents picked all of us up. So it happened to be, I forgot the lady's name, but I remember her son's name was Kevin. And he was a cool little kid. I used to play with him, and we used to play G.I. Joes and shit when we were kids. I think he was a year younger than me. But anyway, she came to pick us up, and I have this DN in my hand, and I'm telling her, I'm like, yeah, I got a DN, but I didn't do anything wrong, so I'm not giving this to my mom. I don't care. So me being, a kid in the third grade, when the lady who's walking us home say, "Oh, let me take a look at that."
Hit you with the shenanigans.
She grabbed it, and next thing I know, we're knocking on the door. My mom works graveyard. I didn't have a father in the house. My mom did everything, and that's why to this day, I call her on Father's Day and tell her Happy Father's Day and Mother's Day because she did both jobs.
Yeah.
But she woke my mom up and said, "Oh, here, Marlon was going to give this to you. But
wow.
Here you go." And I got a whooping so severe. So, but I did not, but I know I did not say it. I did not say it. And to the point where, because we live right next door, we got in the car after my whooping. We got in the car, went up to the school, got up into the teacher's face. My mom was like, my son said he didn't say it. And she, and I started yelling at the teacher, like, I didn't say. And my mom grabbed me and she said, don't talk to him. You don't talk to adults like that. She grabbed me and she said, "Thank you very much." And we walked out. And she knew at that point that I didn't say it. And I know she felt bad.
That's why you had them two TVs in the living room.
And the biggest Super Soaker ever, the Game Gear, the Game Boy, all of it. Yeah,
we used to have it lit over there, bro. We had it lit. Dude, we had everything.
And then the thing is, she went to work at night, so we could do whatever we wanted at nighttime.
It was lit. It was lit, bro. And it wasn't a lot of dudes over there. It was just me and him.
And it was girl. Oh man, we had some fun. We had fun.
Hey, don't tell yourself now.
I'm just saying.
Allegedly, everything was everything.
My mom was not listening to this. No, but we had fun.
My mama might tell her. But she might get in contact with her.
Lady, I love you. I love you very much. So
we didn't do nothing bad. We never did nothing that we weren't supposed to be doing. I mean, not to the degree where it's going to be something that was going to cause us harm.
So no, you and I never did. But remember, I told you about when I stayed at my friend's house. His name was Tony. You remember Tony? So Tony would stay over at my house, and when my mom left to work, he was like, "Hey, let's go to the store." And it's like 12 o'clock at night, and I had a Del Taco and a Savon's across the street, and we would go over we rode our bikes. And we rode our bikes through the drive-through of Savon, through a Del Taco, and got us some food. And I never done anything like that because my mom said, "Stay in the house, don't leave." I'm like, "All right, cool." I was the good kid. My sister, not so much. Love you too. I love my sister very much. And
my issue was with the shits. My issue was with the shits.
But yeah, my sister, my issue is. And still is just awesome. I love my sister, but she I was supposed to be good. I was the one that didn't do the bad things. But I would go out, 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock at night. We outside just riding our bikes, doing stuff. Because my mom wasn't home. My sister and I, when my mom wouldn't be home, we would be up until 6 o'clock. And my mom gets home at 7. So we just had to make sure the dishes were clean. And then that was it. The dishes were clean, cool. She come home, she'll make breakfast for us, and then she'll go to sleep. And then we could, do whatever we need to do. But we had so much fun as kids, and I would go to Ahmad's house. I would go, and then when I got to high school, I used to go to No Shame's house. I used to stay there during the week at No Shame's house. So look, this is just some of the. I didn't have time to see bullshit like what's been going on right now. I was having so much fun. I was being a kid. I was having fun. I was with people who I cared about, who cared about me, and we were doing our thing. You know what I mean? And I was just talking about that the other day. I was listening to Eazy-E, Real Motherfucking G's, and I was like, I remember we moved the mod into it was the Gardena Apartments, and we used to bang that shit. That shit and the Same Old Shit by MC Ren. He used to bang it at the top volume.
Oh, it was kids, bro. I'm talking about fully kids. We supposed to watch Sesame Street. We bumping MC Ren.
we listened to the Second to None, If You Want It, and that's why we got the. What were we before? We were the Youngsters with Power, YWP.
Oh my God, bro. I don't even remember all that shit. You taking it all the way back.
I'm just saying, man, I didn't have time for that shit. And that, you know what? I hope and I wish that the kids skip all over this shit and can move forward to a place where they see as people are people. It's not about color. It's not about race. You might have your financial status things that's gonna be there, whatever it is. But
so, who do you all want to be identified as? Who do you want to be identified as? Because I had this discussion earlier, and I'll go last. But in these times, and you saying you don't necessarily want to be known for color, you want to be a human, Bruce Lee, et cetera, et cetera. Who do you see yourself as? Who do you market you as in this world? Does your race come into play, or is it you as a man, or you could be a father or a Christian or a Muslim, or what is that leader? What are the 2 or 3 major components of who you are that you put out there into the world?
I mean, I think for me, just taking it back to what he was saying about childhood, I just looked at myself as a human being. I don't want to have to look at color. I hate having to do that, and I see myself as just a human. I don't see myself as. I don't want to classify myself as a color because I think that does myself. I think that does it. I'm doing myself a disservice, putting myself in a category, and I don't feel like it should be that way. I just feel like we should just be who we are. And we should be more mature than that as a society. It's a very immature thing to harp on a color. So, me personally,
but it is who we are.
It is, and it's sad. But if I could choose, or if I had the power, then I would just be viewed as a human being, and I'm just a normal human. I'm not a certain color. I'm just a human. We'd all be just the same. As far as that aspect, that's who I would like to be viewed as. Someone who's noble, someone who's ethical, somebody who keeps their word. Just somebody who's fun to be around. Somebody who's unpredictable, but safe. Just a cool person overall.
Yeah. Now I agree. I I agree with Ahmad because, you know, as I grew up and saw different cultures, I just want to be viewed as a good person. I want to be viewed as a person who has integrity, who's loyal, and who's honest.
So your moral compass supersedes your cultural nationality, all that stuff.
You know, I cannot help that I am a large black man, and I know that we had talked about, giving a little peek behind the curtain, talking about pet peeves before as a topic. One of my pet peeves is I'm a large man, and I get it. I understand that. But I used to get, oh, what are you doing here? You should be in the NFL, or you should be bodyguarding somebody. I hate that shit. That is
Right.
one of my. That's all I'm good for. That's all you see. Is just a big body. You know what I mean? And so my thing was, I have when I was baptized when I was 17. And it was a Baptist church. I'm not a super religious person. I am a very spiritual person, and I believe in a higher power. But I also understand people that don't, and I respect it. That's fine. You do what you want to do. What I want you to see is I want you to see me. I don't want you to see, oh, there's this black guy over there. Oh, this bald dude over there. Oh, this tall dude over there. This big dude. I want you to see me. And to me, that's more important. I don't like being put in categories. I don't like being put in a box. We talked about this before. I think, Ahmad and I talked about, being put in categories. I don't like that because it doesn't give you room to evolve. And I think if you stop learning, if you stop growing, you're dead. You got to keep going. You got to keep moving. You got to keep evolving into your final form. And you know what? And it's just to the point where you may be a pillar of your community, but what is your community at that time? What is it that you are representing at that time? And things can change, and you got to be able to move. Keep an open mind and be willing to learn, and see the real for the real. Like everybody that I deal with, everybody that is in my life are real people. And I'm not, I mean, knock on wood, I have been blessed to have some of the best people come into my life and sustain, and it's been amazing. I mean, it really has been, and that I call family. You know what I mean? And it's all walks of life, all races. I've been blessed. So that's. I don't know if that completely answered your question.
Well, I think what you're pointing out is great, and I've completely felt like that numerous times in my life, and it's gone back and forth, and it could be an innocent struggle. Early in life, I just wanted to fit in with my friends, black friends, white friends, Korean, Hispanic, et cetera, et cetera.
The chameleon, yeah.
Right. I was okay with it. over the course of time, I was like, no, I'm identifying with my blackness because it is a factor in my life that is made to be prevalent in the circles that I'm around, whether interacting with, police officers and getting pulled over every Saturday and Sunday in my teen years while driving. When you look at me as that, I can't say I have to, but I did identify as that and had to deal with it, overcome it, and fortunately able to celebrate it. As an author, I wanted to be known as a great author regardless of color. And so that was my, I just want to be a human. But even recently, within the last week, and talking to someone when he was like, I don't see color, I said, I need you to see my color. I need you to see me as a black man in this world doing what I'm doing, because I need to be seen in a positive light so that others can be given the benefit of the doubt, hopefully, that, dang, he's just like Parks. And so for me, I need you to acknowledge that. I need you to acknowledge that I am kind and caring and understanding and humorous and talented and capable and loving and all of those positive attributes as a black man, because I think those are things that people want to just have in the world and they don't care about where it comes from. I need you to know where it comes from. It comes from a black man in this society because of the fact that in many cases, black men aren't looked at as that. So if I can be that role model, if I can be that one that puts you on to the next and the next, because there are so many of us. Like if people learn about me as a black man, they're going to learn about, Ahmad to God and MMB and No Shame and our positive idiosyncrasies being a black man, to the point where eventually maybe it won't matter. But the world sees me as a black man. The cops pull me over, they see me as a black man. Census sees me as a black man. In educational environments, they see me as a black man. At the grocery store, anywhere else, even tonight, I was about to have a moment at a Taco Bell, because Taco Bell lines are longer than any other lines in society right now. It's harder to get into Taco Bell than it is to get into Walmart. And so I had a problem tonight, and I almost moaned and groaned to the point of angry black man. And I had to tell the young cashier, I'm having a moment now. It's not your fault. I waited 20 minutes in line. Y'all didn't have what I wanted. I had to remix my order. Y'all told me to come in. Now I got to go to a kiosk versus talking to you about why do I have to go to a kiosk when you right there next to the machine and you could say 3 hard tacos with beef? Now I got to go to a kiosk and then deal with you. And so for me, at this point in my life, and it may change because we are always evolving, me being a black man comes first, because that's who I am when I wake up, and that's what the world looks at me as, even if they don't see color, which they do, because if I did something wrong, there would be a description. There wouldn't be there's a transparent man with long locks past his waist doing X, Y, and Z. And so I get where you all are coming from, and it's great. And I can't say I don't want to be that, but unfortunately or fortunately, where I am in life is I'm a black man, and I'm just trying to get it, trying to stay out the way, trying to prove my greatness and showcase it, because so often, what about black on black crime? And what about this? And what about that? I want to be a positive example so that when you say these things, somebody can say, and I don't want to be like, well, my black friend Parks, but I want it to be a situation where you don't even have to push me, because you already know better about who I am and what I represent and what I do. So for me, it's a little different than you all. I'm a little older, and maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but I think when people say, because I had a person say something to me about, well, we want to do this for black people. And my thing is, what you want to do might be great in your eyes, but did you talk to the black people about what they wanted? Did you ask them what would make them happy? And so for me, as a 41, 42-year-old black man, I wear this skin, and I'm proud of it. And I'm proud of my family and what we've overcome. I'm proud of my son and the students that I've talked to, black, white, and all other races in between and outside of. And to me, it's important for folks to know that this man is a black man who is doing what it takes to be successful as best he can.
I appreciate that and I respect that, and I understand where you're coming from.
I could be wrong.
No, and I understand where you're coming from, but you know, it's. I don't know. I mean, I can't speak for my. And
y'all are closer to y'all. It sounds like you all are closer to a better world than I am.
So,
and I'm okay with that. I ain't mad at you. I want to get there too.
No. I don't. I want you to understand that from at least my perspective. You know, when I was explaining like what I would like to be viewed as, I'm explaining it from a perspective of a perfect world. Yeah. Now, if we're looking at it in the world we live in the reality we live in, obviously they're always going to see my skin complexion before they see anything else. Yep. And if I do something wrong, they really going to see it.
Facts.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, it wouldn't be wise or logical for me to assume that I could just erase that and no one would ever see it. In the world we live in now, I wouldn't
expect you to.
Exactly. So, in the world we live in now, I mean, people are always going to bring that up, even if they are black. You know, that's just the way we've been taught. We are still going to bring that up. And, it's very honorable to be black. I'm very proud to be black. And I definitely want that to be a part of who I am. I would never want anyone to obviously forget that, or I wouldn't want to erase that out of people's memories, because as much as we've been through and as much as we persevere, I'm very proud to say that. I'm very proud to say that I'm a black person. So I definitely wouldn't want to erase that out of, my obituary or my legacy or whatever you want to call it. I definitely
it's important for you to know that I wasn't looking at what you said as if you were trying to negate or take that off the table.
Okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to explain. I didn't
look at it like that, and maybe the listeners might, but I want to make sure.
I wanted to clarify. Because definitely because when it's all said and done, we adversity. So as far as everything we accomplished at the end of our story, you could say Annie was a black guy.
Rose growing through the concrete.
Exactly. You could talk about all my accomplishments and everything I did and everything that they said I couldn't do and everything they said I failed at, and I did anyway. And then at the end of that story, don't forget to add, he was a black guy. And he was a black guy.
And you're right. And my thing is, because I have been the chameleon, and I'm a fit in, and I'm gonna try to do this, and I'm gonna try to do that, and I decided that I just got to be me. I'm gonna be me. Some of the stuff that I've learned and that I have grown accustomed to, it's not all just one particular sect of people. I take that back. It's successful people. It's real people. It's people that are about business. It's people that are about family, and it's people that are loyal. That's what I represent. And that's when I say an Oxman, that's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? And the thing is that I have I have Palestinian, I have Jewish, black, white, Hispanic, that it's love, like family. And I, the three loves of my life have been white, a Palestinian and Egyptian, and Hispanic. That's and black, because Tiffany James. That was Anyway,
your middle name.
Yeah, I bust her whole name out. She needs to know. But anyway,
birthday, last for the Soch.
Because Tiffany was in high school. Oh my God! But I mean, unfortunately, No Shame is not here. But fortunately, No Shame is here in spirit with the headgear that Ahmad the God and Parks is wearing.
Oh yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
are
Bless your heart.
we are good. No Shame came through, and that is his ox
We
name
appreciate you, brother. We appreciate you for that gesture.
because
Hypothetically speaking, he may or may not have got it from looting Amazon Prime.
but
Maybe somebody came up on some gift cards.
but no shame, and
Shout out to No Shame.
I mean,
Shout out to No Shame.
shout out to all the Oxmen. Ahmad is
Love.
it's what I want is just all love. When you talk about me, hey, the cigars, I enjoy my cigars. I enjoy my bourbon. I enjoy having a good time. I enjoy being with my people. And I enjoy learning. And that's the thing is that what this always into something. That was another thing that Ahmad and I came up with when we were years ago. I mean, we were transcending shit when we were kids. This is what we did, so.